long enough for me to get him out
And
the
we're
door.
live.
Yeah. So if I dip out really quick, it'll be really quick because, like I said, Jose has to go to work really early today. So so it's just look, it'll be for a split second.
I have abandonment issues, Daphne.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
No, it's just for a split second, just to get him out the door, and then we're good. Good
All
morning,
right.
Nita.
Good morning, Daphne. Good morning, everyone. It is March 13th, 2023.
Oh, my goodness.
And you are watching the Rage Into the Vlogs.
Oh, beware the Ides of March, or at least that's in 2 days from now. But we're on a Monday, so beware the pre-Ides of March.
You ready for this?
Absolutely not, but hit it.
All right.
Oh, hello there. You just caught me in the middle of making a drink. While I'm doing that, here's a disembodied voice that'll talk to you about what this commercial is about.
Shots with Comics is a comic show on the Indie Comics network after dark. Join some drunk people as they talk about what's going on in the comic world, what comics they are reading, and of course, all cohole. Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Indie Comics network after dark. We will offend, anger, and make you uncomfortable. Join us, unless you are a what?
Let me jump back over here. Oh my God.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I'm trying to download a special treat for everybody. At the
Oh
end of
yeah, that's true. I swear I can't look at that pickle the same way. It gets worse, people.
It gets worse.
It absolutely gets worse. So, hello everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Rage Into the Vlogs. And like I said, it's like for a split second, I might have to. I'm probably going to dip out because, like I said, Jose's leaving for work early. So, but not to frighten everybody. My Wi-Fi is fine. So like I said, welcome everybody. Who's in the chat? Who's joining us in the chat?
So far, Efrain and Allison are here.
Oh, there you go. Hello, welcome. And yes, and I see you, the 6 people next to my giant eyeball on the screen watching us from regions beyond. If you are joining us from Facebook, oh no, there is no happy daylight savings time. No. If you are joining us from Facebook, if you are joining us from Twitter, come on over to Facebook. Join the sexy people in the chat. Come keep Efrain, Patrick, and Allison company right now. Hit the like, the subscribe, all the notification buttons, everything. Just slam all the buttons at the bottom of your YouTube screen. You know how it works. Because Facebook acts up a bit, and Twitter doesn't even allow us to see your comments. So if you would like to chat with us live, come on over here. It'll be a lot easier. Trust me for that. So let me get introductions really quick out of the way. It's like, hello, everyone. My name is Daphne Lage, and I'm a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York. I have been self-publishing. It's important. I've been self-publishing comics since 1992, and you know what that means.
Stay a while and listen.
And I am known for the furry fantasy adventure. Where's my card? Holy crap. Where's my card? Here it is. Here it is. I am known for the furry fantasy adventure Tall Tales, which I am currently fulfilling right now. So thank you everybody who supported the Peacekeepers campaign. The first batch of your pledges are going out today. So hopefully in the next couple of days, I'll be able to get everything out and we can really start moving along to the next campaign, in earnest. And speaking of the next campaign, I am also known for my medieval fantasy soap opera drama, Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, which returns to Kickstarter very, very soon. I don't want to say any dates until I get these packages out for Peacekeepers. I want to make sure everything is completely out before we start really steamrolling everybody with Eagle Raven issue 6 returning to Kickstarter very, very soon. I still can't believe it's issue 6 already. But hey, time flies when you're having fun, right? And Jesus, I have the wrong card up, for Christ's sake. Yes, you can where am I?
It's Monday.
Yes, it's Monday. It really is Monday. And in the meantime, you can read both my comics online at Tall Tales, TAILSonline.com and eagleworks.com, EGOWRKS. And you can check out all my videos on how I make my comics here on YouTube on my channel at Daphne Lage, Lage Art, which also simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network. So make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the thumbs up, thumbs down. The algorithm doesn't care. It's all the same to it, And and so you get notified. Hit the notification
to us.
Yes, exactly. Because we were watching Chris Rock last night, and he said that the strongest drug of all, the strongest addiction of all, is attention. So give us our dopamine hits by hitting that notification bell, and so that you get notified whenever any of our shows go live. And to tell you more about that sweet dopamine hit on this channel, here's Nita.
Once again, having internet issues, like for real, Daphne, I'm not making it up. I know it's very convenient, but still, I promise it's legit.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
So, my name is Nita Lanning, and I'm a writer, vlogger, blogger from Southeast Louisiana, and I am the person whose Google account owns Indie Comics Network.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Network After Dark. So let's see. Tune in this afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern for Fike It, Let's Draw with Rodney Fike. And tonight we will not be having Shots with Comics because Chad Perkins is on the campaign junket because of the Legend of Sparkle Dog. Don't say a woo, which is
that's true. Yes, and what other campaigns are live right now for everyone to check out?
Doghouse issue 1 from Hasm Productions is on Kickstarter.
While you're doing that.
Oh, okay. Sister Mercy issue 8, The Last Tomorrow by Corey Hardiman. Of course, Daphne's Ego Raven. On Indiegogo, Hojo has The Mythicals and Mitch Rogers has The Boger. Let's see. Oh, Max DeVille has Human Hunters issue 3. That's Atrocity Press. Freaking awesome. Check him out. William Russell has Psycho Sal. And I can't really think of too many coming up right now. Oh, Lori Calcatari, I think, is in sign up for Path of the Pale Rider issue 3.
Right. Oh, and just to squeeze in, did you talk about Rosario's book?
No, I don't have his link yet.
Right. Oh, okay. So we'll try to get that. I forgot. So if you go to Unstoppable Comics, JD Rosario has a new campaign that's live right now. That, like an asshole, I don't remember what the book is. Fuck. Hold on. Let me find it just so I can give him.
I got it.
You got it?
Yeah, I'll find it.
Okay. Because it's
Limbo.
Jeez, I knew it was something. Sorry, Rosario.
And
look,
it is
I am still
Kickstarter.
So it is on Kickstarter right now. Thank you to everybody who joined us on not us in particular, but joined JD and the other JD on the show, the launch party. where we got to meet the artists from Colombia.
Damn.
So check out Limbo. Was it? Yeah, it's like Limbo, which is a 3-issue miniseries on Kickstarter right now. And there we go. So Allison also has a Patreon, a manga Patreon. Open up soon. So check the link out in the show notes as well. Everybody's busy. And it's like
Wild. It's wild.
yeah. And it's like, and I have to apologize if I'm a little like this, because it's like daylight savings time. I never do well transitioning.
It's just not natural.
It really isn't. I wish they would cut that shit out, honestly. Just leave it the way it is right now. You know, it's like, look, but this whole switching hour back, look, nobody cares anymore. You know, just
Let's get it over with.
Yeah, we don't live on farms and shit. You know, it's like, the majority, we don't. So it's like, we don't need this hour shift. And it's, so yeah, because yesterday it's like, I meant to finish a whole bunch of things, or at least to get some stuff done. And I just could not get the energy to do it. 1 hour.
I did nothing.
1 hour. And it felt like my entire day was messed up. It's like Jose woke up really, really late, and all we were able to do is just like drag ourselves to get food and to go to like the Midtown outlet because they're only open on the weekends. So it's like, we bought a couple of things and then we just dragged our asses back home. And but I was able to get some coloring done for Eagle Raven. I had meant to finish it yesterday. I am one goddamn page short. I am on the very last page of finishing Eagle Raven issue 6 of coloring it, color correcting it. And it's a beauty. It's a beauty. All I can say.
I'm ready for it.
I am, it's like, because the second this is done, I'm going to like sit on it for a couple of days. I mean, I have it pretty much set up. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to sit on it, and then I'm going to like start checking it over to make sure, because I've been catching a lot of mistakes. So it's like, and then having to go back and forth. Really. And go back to previous pages and then update the files and things like that. So I'm just like going to finish this page today, going to like I said, I'm just going to like not look at it or not, or like not work on it, anymore for a couple of days. And then I'm going to go back, see it with fresh eyes. And then I'm going to get that thing out to the printers so I can get a proof. Hopefully before or as the campaign is starting. So I'm looking forward to that. What else? Oh, like I said, it's like, what else was I doing? Oh yeah. So I was, like I said, I am currently fulfilling Peacekeepers right now. So for those of you who pledged to the Peacekeepers, the Tall Tales Peacekeepers campaign, like I said, the first batch, I have that ready to go. After the show is done, I'm going to go to the post office, dump everything off, and then finish off the last of the pledges. If you did not have add-ons on your pledge, you guys are the first ones to get your books on the basic level. So keep an eye out for that. Everybody else, I'm going to be going through the rest of your stuff today and tomorrow. So hopefully by either Wednesday or Thursday, I'll have this completely done. And it's like, look, and even then I'm already in the process of putting together stuff for for the Eagle Raven campaign. I'm already setting up labels for the mystery packs that I will be doing for Eagle Raven as well. And just like putting together all the extras and stuff that's going to go with the campaign and just like kind of finishing it up. Also, the best thing about finishing these pages is I finally get to put together the video. I have the skeleton for it. I have to admit, it's going to be very hard for me to top the Peacekeepers. But you know what? I got to work.
But you're going to try.
I'm going to try. But now that I have like the full color images, I can put them in the the video, and then we're going to have finally I can just completely finish the Kickstarter. So yeah, so a lot going on this week because I want to get all this done because I have a varied cover commission that I have to start on. I have some other pieces that I have to start on. I had another commission request come in that I have yet to answer. So yeah, it's just kind of like
Busy.
a scramble. It's just kind of a scramble this week. So it's like, so what are you up to, Nita?
Copy, because I didn't do anything yesterday. I've got a whole bunch of stuff that needs updating. I've got a book that I need to finish editing because deadlines are coming up on me, and I've got some new crowdfunds coming. So it's
right. It's
constant.
yeah. I mean, it's crazy at the amount. Just it's just. I mean, I don't know why I'm surprised, to tell you the truth. I mean, am I really? It's like I don't know. It's like I kind of feel like I have a good pace going right now so far. So it's just keeping everything moving.
Right.
Oh, so let me show off what I got. So like I said, we have a Midtown Comics outlet near the house but it's only open on the weekends, and so we usually go there, and while JD is going through the 99-cent bins, which usually has another 50% discount on top of that, so he's getting like all these books for like 50 cents and stuff. So I'm upstairs checking out their I guess like their overstock manga and then whatnot. Like I said, I'm still it's like I'm still kind of like this weird kind of collector phase where it's like I'm still like picking up, like getting more into manga, but right now it's still more of a format thing. Like, oh,
Right.
what are you doing this? But I still have my interests that I still like to follow, and the thing is, like, I don't know. I guess I've picked through this manga selection so much that there isn't really much left for me. Like, I don't know. Like, either like fantasy stuff just isn't really. I don't know. Like they're not putting out as much fantasy stuff, or like I said, I've just thoroughly picked through the selection they have there. And I still have to admit, it really surprises me how many light novels are getting produced. Like, so it's like, yes, the kids are reading. The thing is, the thing that I can't stand though is the absolutely ridiculous titles that these books now have. Like, it's like instead of having like a nice, sweet, concise title, like, I don't know, like Delicious in Dungeon or something like that.
That was your example.
Yeah, well, the basic example, and for those, that's a real manga. It's about like a D&D party. It's like, it's one of these mangas based on like someone's D&D game, and and what happened is that they have to survive in the dungeons by learning how to eat the monsters. But like literally, like they like there's like recipes and shit in there. Like, how do they?
God bless the Japanese.
Like how they survive, because like if they go, oh my god, it's like all we're doing is adventuring, and if we don't do this, we're gonna starve to death. So it's literally them like learning how to cook all these different beasts and monsters that they find. So it's I haven't personally read it, but conceptually it's like, okay, that's
is there
funny.
anything they don't write about?
Yeah, I know, really. So so usually, but now it's like all their other titles is like it's like, it's like my next girlfriend is going to be a supervillain and my dad hates it. Like that's literally the title. Like these mile-long, absolutely ridiculous titles.
You got to be able to judge the book by its cover.
Right. Well, now it's like, we'll just put the summary in the title. Like the other day, like I said, there's this eBay seller that I've been buying, like these Japanese art books off of, and of course my list keeps getting longer and longer. So I keep going through like what other books that he has. And I've gotten some really strange manga recommendations from his list. That if you join us in 2 weeks for House of Bob, I will go in very particular detail, in detail about these mangas that's being recommended. But like one of the books that he carries is a manga called, it's a manga that literally the title is breasts are my favorite part of the girl's body, you know, and it's just like, holy shit, come on. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you, Japan? What the fuck? You know, it's like, really? It's like, well, at least you know what you're getting into.
You know what it is. They're not going to hide it. It's
no,
you know,
it's like
right.
So these ridiculous titles.
It's not a titty book. Oh no.
Yes, well, actually, yes, it is.
Well, I know that.
Yes, it is. You know, so the books that I got, the books that I was able to get, that I was able to pick, you know, to finally pick out. So I got another one of these kind of like these Alice in Wonderland harem manga books, where it's an entire series of Alice having, I guess, like a harem. Well, it's a reverse harem manga. So you have a harem manga that's like, you have harem that's like kind of like Tenshi Muyo is the, I guess, like the grandfather. Yeah, I know. It's the grandfather of this type. You have the one guy, he's surrounded by all these girls who are all in love with him, and he's completely clueless about it. So, but this is a reverse manga. So it's like, it's the girl who has to choose, you know, like from all these suitors, I guess. And it's an entire series of it, but this one's based on, so this one, I have the one, I think this was the first one that I picked up. And I think this one is more centered around the Cheshire Cat. So which is why I got it. And then this one is based on, I think, either the White Rabbit or the March Hare. I haven't figured it out yet. I mean, I haven't read through it. I'm pretty sure it's the White Rabbit. So these are like so it's like, yeah, so it's Alice having to choose from these Bishonen representations of I guess like this characters from the Wonderland series or whatnot. So yeah, so I picked up another one of those to add to that. And this book, and then I had to pick up this because this was this was probably the first thing that I peeked through at like months ago. And that kind of like, and I've been thinking about this book, but the problem is when I went back to get it, I couldn't find it. It just kept moving. I thought maybe somebody had bought it or something, because it's a Yoi novel. It's a Yoi novel. And I had flipped through it because usually these are in plastic for obvious reasons.
Somebody was carrying this store and reading it because they weren't of age to buy it.
Yeah, and probably that's what I think was happening, that somebody was going into the store and reading this as they were in the store, because it kept, like I said, I looked through it because it wasn't in plastic and it kind of intrigued me. And then when I went to go back, I was just like, oh, it's gone. Somebody bought it, right? You know, it's like some other Fujoshi picked it up. But then I actually found it again. So obviously, yeah, so someone was probably, you know, like reading it each as they were going along. So I finally bought it. And, you know, look, we all know what Yoi is, right? So it's you know, it's pretty much gay. A novel. Well, this is a novel. This is an actual light novel. Although I don't know if this would qualify as a light novel, because the term light novel I usually see only in conjunction with like kind of like young adult, like it's their version of young adult. Yeah. So I'm not sure if this counts, but it is a novel. And usually I don't pick up contemporary stuff. Like I don't pick up like the vampire one was a given. It's like, okay, vampires, I can take that. But this one, it's just a guy who runs it's literally a coffee shop thing. You know, it's like guy runs a coffee shop and a mysterious stranger, you know, walks in. Type of story. So I don't know. I just had to get it. It was half off. 70% off. I don't know, whatever. So I picked those what I picked up. Yeah, like I said, I'll be talking about more about that on House of Bob on March, what is it, March 25th? I think House of Bob. House of Bob, March 25th. We're with returning guest Jake Twister. We'll be talking about art that makes us uncomfortable. And some of the YOI recommendations that I've been getting have been pretty interesting. So because I'm just picking this stuff up blind, I don't know anything about this, so it's like, okay, let's see where this goes. Like I said, it's research. It's research. So
That's
so that
what I
was,
say about my Google search history.
so it's like, so that was my little shopping expedition yesterday. And sorry to the person who was sneak reading the book at the store, obviously, because like I said, this book disappeared for a while, then it came back, and it was like, and of course it was in a place where it wasn't supposed to, and and it's like, look, sorry for ruining your vibe by buying the book, but you know what, look, don't be a coward. That's all I can say. Don't be a coward next time. So today we have a guest. We have Madeleine, who is here to talk about her book Boston Metaphysical. And so I don't know if you want to run some bumps.
You ready for
and
a book?
and we'll bring her in and we'll talk about that. So we'll be right back after these messages.
Get in the Tub, #1 by Mitch Rogers. Now what do? I need an artist, an editor. There's so much to do. If only there was some kind of thing or show or something that could break down from start to finish how to make a comic. I could read a book on that, but I just realized I can't read. Oh my god, who are you?
Hi, I'm a hammer with googly eyes and I'm here to tell you about Build a Comics Workshop, a show featuring artist C. Michael Lanning and writer Chad Perkins building a comic from start to finish. Join in on the discussions and learn some tips and tricks on how to make comics. It's sure to be exciting, trust me, I'm a talking hammer. Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Indie Comics Network.
Oh my God. I still... Hello, speaking of how to make comics.
That was unusual.
Yes, it definitely gets the point across. But yes, we do have a new show coming up where you can watch Chad and C. Michael Lanning actually create a comic from start to finish, from conception to fulfillment. We're going through the whole process of building a Kickstarter and everything. So, welcome.
Hi.
Hi. So, I mean, like I said, my brain is all over the place, but it's like you've been on the show before. Right?
Yes.
I could have sworn we talked to you.
Yes.
So yes, because it's like sometimes I'm wondering, am I thinking about Jose's show? I'm not sure. So, So welcome back. Welcome back
Thank
to
you.
to
Thank
the
you.
vlogs. And for the people who are just joining us, tell everybody who you are.
Sure. My name is Madeleine Holly Rosing. I am the writer creator of the steampunk supernatural graphic novel, prose, and audio drama series, Boston Metaphysical Society. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the story, it's about an ex-Pinkerton detective, a spirit photographer, and a genius scientist who battles supernatural forces in late 1800s Boston. We started with a 6-issue miniseries, which is what we call Volume 1 now. That's it's our original series. I then did 4 standalone sequels with Gwen Tavares. And the new Kickstarter that we have on right now is to print issues 1 and 2 of our brand new series, Mystery at Pikes Peak. So I bring the whole crew from Boston, the East Coast, and travel by airship to Colorado, to Tesla's experimental station.
Oh, very nice, very nice. And it's like, and what I find unusual about your campaigns is that it's not just comics, as you said. It's there's like, I think if I remember correctly, there was novels, but definitely like the audio drama as well. Can you tell us a little bit more about those crossovers? I mean, are they crossovers? Are they standalones?
They are standalones. They are the novel and the anthology, which is a book of the short stories and novellas, are prequels to the graphic novel. So what they do is they enrich the graphic novel. But yeah, they're all standalone. The audio drama is also a standalone story. It's called The Ghost Ship, and it takes place during the time period of the original 6-issue miniseries. I kind of have it under what I call the case files of the Boston Metaphysical Society. So it's kind of in between the issues. And yeah, I play with the timing a little bit, but you know, I'm the writer. I can do that.
Right, exactly. And it's like, and like, so do you find that people tend to like, because the other mediums, the novel and the audio drama, they add to the environment of the comic, do you find that people tend to buy everything, or is it kind of like it still remains niche even though it's all on the same campaign?
It really depends. I have people who will buy all of it, or they'll buy the graphic novel and the prose, or they'll do the prose and the audio drama. Right. I mean, that's one of the reasons I did do the story in different mediums, is because people like different things.
Right. And you don't feel that, because that's something that I'm experimenting, or I'm going to experiment with as well. I have my main comic series and I have a novel kind of continuing the stories. And it's like, did you find like any, I don't know, like any difficulty in transitioning to different mediums when your base, I guess your main thing is the comic?
Well, it's interesting because you probably already know, I come from a film and TV background. So I transitioned from screenplays to comics. And even though when I was much younger, I was just doing prose. I mean, for me as a writer and creator, it's a fun challenge to move from mediums to mediums. And I enjoy it because I get to exercise my brain in different ways.
Yeah, that's what I like about it too.
Yeah, and it challenges you to do something, and it gives you insight into the other mediums as well.
Right. Now the audio drama is pretty interesting, because me and Nita just recently-ish completed listening to ElfQuest, the audio movie. And it was just really interesting to see how that transition from a comic to an audio drama turned out. And like, what made you want to do an audio now is it an audio drama with actors, or is it just like an audio book where someone's
it's a full-fledged audio drama. We had 12 actors on board.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it's a full cast, special effects, and original music. It's like your old-time radio play.
Right.
And
nice.
I was basically convinced to do this by the person who was my mentor and also my script editor, Eddie Louise. She and her husband, Chip Michael, wrote and co-produced another audio drama called Sage and Savant. It's a steampunk alternate history for 4 years. And she and I met up at the Nebula Awards, and this was all pre-pandemic, and said, she goes, you have to do this as an audio. You have to, Boston Metaphysical is perfect. And she was right. And so during the pandemic, I was, looking to transition because there's no cons, there's no nothing.
Right.
I was fortunate to get a small COVID grant from the state of California. So that was kind of like my seed money to do the audio drama, so I could pay my actors and stuff. I believe in paying people.
Right. Yeah, I know. I mean, it's like that, but it's like, the grant though. I mean, it's like, was this like specifically an art grant, or is
it was for small business?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a small business grant through the state of California.
Oh, interesting. So, I mean, so that's I kind of wonder if that's kind of like an option that more creators can take advantage of. Maybe it's like,
particularly if you have a female or POC company. There are a lot of grants out there. For small businesses that are owned by women and people of color. And so, I mean, you do have to go look for it.
Right. Yeah.
They're not going to just land on your doorstep.
No,
so
that's for sure.
You've got to go do the research and find it. But they are out there. And at the time, the state of California they had different, I'm not sure how to describe that. They sort of had different funding funnels.
Right.
For the small business grants, and they were each for different. And so I went through the one that was for, female owned businesses, and, surprise, surprise.
Right.
I got one. Yay.
Right.
I was so excited because, we had, I'd done the Kickstarter and everything, but I was getting no money because there's no cons.
Right.
And so now I felt comfortable enough that, I had the seed money to get this going, because, even at what we call the super budget indie level, which I was at, that, it's expensive.
Right.
And
I could. Yeah. Because like the Elf Quest, like, I don't know if I don't know if it's apples to apples but like Elf Quest, the Richard and Wendy Pini, they ran a Kickstarter for this production, and they raised like almost like $250,000 just to do the audiobook. Like, I'm hoping that's not what it costs you to do that.
No, I was fortunate. I hired Eddie Louise and her husband Chip to come aboard as my production team, as I had not done it before.
Right.
And I had hoped that I could direct a few episodes, but it became apparent that I just didn't have the skill sets yet. So I shadowed. Chip did it and did a marvelous job. And so I shadowed him, and he did a fantastic job. The actors were just amazing. And I think everyone appreciated, because we did this all remotely, and all these actors, they like made new friends, and, we would be on Zoom and in breakout rooms and auditioning and everything. And people just seemed to have a delightful time.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And now you have this very, what I would think, especially in comics, an unusual product.
Yes.
Because it's like, because that's like, that is interesting. And it's like, it's unusual. It's not a standard variant cover or something. It's like, here, have an audio drama.
Yeah. And as you probably realize, I do steampunk conventions as well as Comic Cons. And there was a gentleman who I always used to talk to, very nice, but his eyesight was not good. He couldn't read graphic novels.
Right. Yeah.
And so when I finally came out with the audio drama, he said, finally something for me.
Right. Yeah. And I've had somebody do the same.
Yeah.
Like they were very excited that I had done my comic in a way that his audio reader could
Mhm.
actually read the panels for him. So so it's kind of nice to be able to offer something like that.
Yeah.
Now we're going to talk about your campaign in a bit, but also the thing is too that you're kind of like even it's like you're a writer in the sense of you write, and so comics isn't just your thing, just like you did the audio but you did the audio drama and then you did the novels, but also you wrote a book about doing Kickstarters as
Kickstarters,
well,
yes. Yeah.
and what made you decide to do that part? Oh, there it
Yeah,
is.
she's got it right there.
Yeah.
And she's got the latest edition. The green cover is the latest edition. I always say that. Green cover.
Right.
Well, I wrote it, the first edition I wrote, I think back in 2018, and then the one you have was revised in 2020. There's some things that I would add to that, but the
Right.
basic strategies remain the same.
Right.
I don't think they'll ever really change, just the nuances. I had been doing Kickstarters. By that time, I think I'd done about 4 or 5 Kickstarters, and I had seen some really amazing products, and not just products, but comics,
Right.
through the crash and burn.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I would look at their page, and I realized that, they hadn't done any pre-launch strategy. They didn't have an email list. Their Kickstarter page looked terrible. It was just, there was no story. It was just, incomprehensible, or there wasn't any visuals or something. And it was a shame because it was great.
Right.
But they didn't know how to present it to the outside world, or they just weren't prepared to launch. Because some people just get itchy. I want to launch. Like, okay, I'm launching, and it's like December 12th.
Right. Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't go cause yourself that kind of pain.
Yeah. No, really. I mean, but that's more like the like don't launch over Christmas.
And get more than one set of eyes on your campaign before you launch. Make
Right.
sure you have friends that can go in and edit out errors for you, because the last thing you want when you're trying to sell a book is grammar errors.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
And that's on the actual Kickstarter.
Yes, on the actual campaign.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I'm just looking really quick at like all your previous campaigns. You've done 11, and so your first campaign, it says your first campaign you actually canceled.
Yes, we failed spectacularly.
Right.
Yes, that's where I learned.
That's the best way to learn.
Lessons. Yes.
So can you tell us really quickly about like what happened on that first campaign? Because when you launched again, you ended up with 228 backers, and you raised a little over $7,000. So it's like that's you didn't have so what happened on the first that
we made I made a lot of assumptions. We had started out as a webcomic, and I've forgotten now exactly how many views we were getting per month, but as the issues, it was a decent amount. That if, say, 10% of those people pledged, it would get us like halfway there. And it was a large amount at the time. It was like $25,000, but it was to complete the last 3 issues and go to trade. So we're talking about production and printing, so that's what it would cost. But I didn't have an email list. I didn't understand the nuances of crowdfunding. And when I launched, crowdfunding was also really new.
Right. Okay.
People were just ramping up. The knowledge base was really just ramping up. But the fact of the matter is that when I canceled, we had over 200 backers, and over $7,000 was there.
Okay.
Yeah, that was there. So we used that as historical data and said, okay, we know from historical data, this is what we can expect roughly.
Right.
And so I decided then, okay, I'm not going to be able to do this all at once. We're going to have to break it down into smaller parts. So instead we said, okay, this is just going to be a print run for number 3, because issues 1 through 3, we self-funded. and so we have something to show people.
Right.
And so I think we had a funding goal of like $3,000 or something just to
Right.
print the basic number 3. And we were fully funded in 24 hours. But what I did was I saw people start canceling their pledges as they saw that, we weren't going to make it.
Right.
And the issue with Kickstarter is if someone cancels their pledge, you can't contact them through Kickstarter to let them know about what you're. So that's why I chose to cancel.
Oh, okay.
And so I could reach these people again. And I sent out a nice update thanking everyone and then asking them like 3 times to sign up for this email list to notify them when we were going to launch again.
Right.
It would only be for the Kickstarter. And that was the beginning of my email list.
Right. Oh, that's funny.
And then I just started growing it from cons and additional Kickstarters as life went on.
Now the thing is, though, the fact that even on a canceled campaign, you ended up with 200 and something backers and raising, I guess you said close to $7,000
something around
already.
that.
Yeah. It's like what. Okay, and so you said you had no email list. It's like you kind of like your first campaign, and I guess anybody running a first campaign would have loved to have had those numbers.
Yeah.
So it's like, did you do anything before you did that first campaign that you got that many people, or do you think it was just the type of book that you were doing?
I think people like what we were doing,
right?
Because. Yeah, I had a few friends chip in money, but really not.
Right.
They're helpful, but only up to a certain point.
Right.
You can only depend on friends and family. I think to reach a goal, if your goal is very small, and I really don't think you should depend on friends and family. You need to depend on those beyond that who will like this kind of stuff. And just based on the numbers of what we did on the first campaign, it told me nobody knows us from anywhere. We're just coming from, we were a blank slate. Yeah. And clearly this is resonating. We have something here.
Right. Yeah.
Between the story and the art and everything. And it connected with people. So we just built on that.
Right. I mean, because so Nita, bring up the campaign, because it's like also because the thing is too that the reason also why I ask is we interview a lot of people, and the thing is too is that when you see patterns on Kickstarter, this book does not follow the pattern that we usually see with campaigns that break 5 figures. So that's why it's like it's just like, okay, so I guess it's a combination of having a very enthusiastic mailing list and having this steampunk / Lovecraftian type of story that I guess resonates with a lot of people, like a lot of fandoms, I guess. Like there's this fandom crossover, I guess.
This is definitely a fandom crossover because this is more steampunk-ish than steampunk.
Right.
And I've talked to a number of fans now that say that, they never really liked steampunk, but they like Boston Metaphysical because it's not the gadgets are not the focus of the story. It's the characters.
Right. Okay.
And it's the characters and their relationships and their interactions and what they have to deal with on a regular basis. And they're very much their own individuals.
Right. Because I guess that's the less about gears on hats and goggles and more about an actual story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
No, we're also this is I haven't run a single issue campaign for a while because the last 4 were all standalones. They were complete stories. And these are the first 2 issues for a 4-issue miniseries. And so, no, we did a couple of different things because I'm doing some experimenting. I'm doing variant covers for the first time. As you just saw, we've got Rio Burton is the first one, and that one there is from Stuff C. And we have both of those. We have a few left of those in metal covers. and then I have a brand new team on board. Gwen, I love her to death, but she has 2 children under the age of 3, so that should tell you all you need to know. Yeah. God bless her, but yeah, she has no time.
Right.
I think she does an occasional pinup now.
Okay.
And so yeah, there's a lot about this campaign is just different than the
Right.
other campaigns that I've done.
Yeah. Now, how the variant cover? So how is that? So how are you seeing? Like, how's that working out for you as somebody who's not putting out the traditional idea, the Kickstarter traditional idea of a variant cover?
I'm not sure I even understand that. You know, what's
You're not doing nude covers. Let's just say that.
Oh, cheesecake.
Yeah, the whole
cheesecake.
Because when I see variant covers, that's usually what people are doing. Especially the ones that get the most attention. So how are you like? So how's literally like how's it working for you with the variant covers and the metal covers? Like, what do you learn from that?
It's doing well. I mean, the metal covers are limited. There's only 25. That's it.
Mhm.
We're not doing any more. And
Right.
even these variants are limited.
Mhm.
So it's the exclusivity,
Right.
and the fact that they're gorgeous. And you'll never see a boob window on any of the covers. It's just never going to happen.
Right. Yeah. But that's why, again, it's like, that's why I'm asking, because it's kind of like you're the type of book that you're doing and making the money that the success that you're seeing on Kickstarter is not the pattern that we usually see. So I just want to like put that out there that it can be done. That if you put out a compelling story. And here's the thing too, which do you find so you've done single issues like standalones, and this is, I guess, like the first like multi-part series that you're doing, right?
Well,
I understood.
No, my original series, 6-issue series, was individual issues. We did do individual issues and then went to trade. So yeah, I'm actually going back to that, but instead of doing 6, I'm just doing 4.
Right.
It's just budget and time and
right. Well, I mean, but aside from that, do you notice like a difference, like when you put out like a mini series as opposed to a one shot? Like do people react more to one than the other? Like, is there like a preference that people seem to be?
People like the trades, and I completely understand that, because they want a complete story, which is one of the reasons why we're offering exclusives here that you won't see when eventually we will go to trade, and the trade itself will have exclusives within it that you're never going to see anywhere else. The volume 1 and volume 2 have extra stories in them that won't be anywhere else but in those volumes.
Right.
Ever.
Right. so the Kickstarter, now, do you offer your books anywhere else, or is it just on Kickstarter? Are you in comic book shops? Are you getting distributed?
Well, the original 6-issue miniseries and the standalone sequels are distributed by Source Point Press. And the original 6 issues ran through the Hulk previews, and so did the standalone sequels. That was over the last couple years. And so, yeah, I haven't talked to them about this. I know they don't want to pick up anything until everything is done.
Right.
Which I get that.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Yes.
I totally understand that. So I'm sure we'll have a conversation when we're done with this. Yeah, Source Point, you can either pick up the volume 1 or the standalones through Source Point Press, or you can get them from me through my web store or at a convention.
Okay, so it's like,
or here.
But if you pledge to the Kickstarter, there are certain things that you could only get on the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So so going back to your, I guess, your how-to book, what so like you said, you were seeing a lot of like, I guess you were having some frustration with seeing other people's campaigns, and it's like, oh, if you just fix this, and this, you'd have better.
Yeah, well, at the time, there was no book for comic book creators on how to run a Kickstarter. And to my knowledge, I'm the first one who wrote a book that was that referenced comics specifically. And obviously there's been some since, but I actually didn't tell anybody I was writing this book at the because I knew I had some colleagues who could write an equally or better book or whatever at the time, and I knew as soon as I put my book out that they go like, huh, maybe I used to do that. So yeah, I just kept my mouth shut until I went like, ta-da,
here it is, right? And right, so it's like, so is that book available on the Kickstarter as well?
No, that is available either through Amazon, on all ebook platforms, anywhere, whatever you have.
Right. And now you said that
buy a physical copy. Yeah, physical copy, because you're going to want to highlight it and take notes. And
I actually tell people that when they get the Kickstarter book, to just sit down, read it through once. And then go back and make notes that is particular for your campaign, because everyone's at a different level. Yeah. And some people may have a decent email list. So, okay, now I need to work on this or something else. And I have a fun story. Many years ago to WonderCon, a gentleman came to my table and bought the Kickstarter book for me on a Friday night. He came back Saturday and said, I'm never going to run a Kickstarter.
So why did he buy it?
No. Well, he read the book.
She overwhelmed him.
He read it cover to cover. He read it and said, I'm never going to run a Kickstarter. And I said, that is the best $10 you ever spent.
Oh, I see.
Now you know what is required to run a successful Kickstarter. And if you don't want to do that, put in, you've just saved yourself so much time and emotional energy. And if you decide you want to self-fund, there is nothing wrong with self-funding. There is nothing wrong with not running a crowdfunding campaign if that is not for you.
Right.
And it is better that you learn that ahead of time than during the process, because it can be a painful process. And even for someone like me, who actually I've run 12 campaigns, because the audio drama is under a different, it's under my corporate name.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't come up when you say, launched, however, 11 campaigns.
Oh, interesting. So you run that campaign under a different category.
Yes.
Right. Yep. It's like it shows you how much I know, because I didn't even know that there was a category specifically for audio on Kickstarter.
Oh yeah, and that's a whole that's a section that I would probably add to any editions, because that's the audio book section podcast of Kickstarter has a very different dynamic than the comic side.
Right. Oh, interesting. And what about the novels? Do you run that under a different category?
No, the novels I just did.
Oh, okay.
I just did. I have not Kickstarted a novel.
Oh, okay.
That is also under publishing. And I know you guys know Russell Nolte, I'm sure.
Right. Yeah.
He has a Kickstarter accelerator program. Very, very good. He started that with novelists because he saw a niche that needed to be filled, like I did.
Right.
And they've been very successful with the novels, and it's a matter of teaching people how to run a Kickstarter campaign.
Right. And so how different is it between doing a novel and a comic and an audio drama, if you're going to the three different categories, or maybe the three different audiences? Do you have, is it kind of the same, or you really do got to market differently depending on the audience?
Well, no, you don't really market differently, and I haven't run a novel campaign.
Oh, okay.
So I can't speak to that. Audio drama has more to do with the category and the fact that what I discovered is other podcasters did not know how to run a campaign.
Ah, okay.
And and I saw a lot of people struggling.
Right.
and which was unfortunate because they had great stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely great stuff. It was kind of like the same dynamic I saw back in 2016, 2015 or something. But yeah, actually there's a voice actor and producer and Oriana at Kickstarter and I, we had been trying to put together an online panel for podcasters on running a Kickstarter, but we just haven't been able to gel the time because the voice actors in the UK, Oriana's in New York, and I'm in California. So
oh my goodness, yeah, that's
we already timing, so we all can be
Right.
together at the same time has been very difficult.
Yeah,
Was it
that's
a struggle for you
yeah.
to bring your comic book audience over to the audio drama, or was it fairly simple, especially with the same title or under the same?
There were people who loved it, and there are others who just are like, hey, if you do this as a graphic novel, I'm on board.
Oh, I see.
But they have no interest in the audio drama, and that's fair. Not
everyone. No, it's absolutely fair. I was just curious because for me that would be bait. I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna bite, even if the audio drama wasn't my thing. Right. Which I never thought it was until I listened to ElfQuest. So now I'm gonna have to go.
Right, yeah, it's like now it's like a whole like
now I'm like all about the fucking audio dramas. Bring them.
Yeah, well, you can get the CD as an add-on with my campaign, as well as the pin, because I know I have there's the pin package, and then there's the new pin, the Tesla pin. I do a new pin every Kickstarter. It's just a thing we do because people collect them.
Right.
We're doing that now with the bookmarks. We actually we just made our next we're into our next stretch goal. So we've made 3 stretch goals so far, which include 12 digital comics and our 2 new magnets, which are gorgeous.
There's some really great ones in those freebies, by the way.
All right.
So, and so our next one is a metal bookmark with the first stretch goal is the stainless steel version that will have the Tesla's experimental station. And I think you had it up briefly when you were scrolling. Right. You saw an image of it. We did that for our last campaign with the dirigible, and oh my god, it's so unique and gorgeous that I said, okay, I think we've just found another collectible.
Right, exactly. Yeah. That's because even Jose was like going, how many pins do you have? I must have them. It's like, so now it's like, so the Kickstarter, how many days is left on the Kickstarter? Let's see. How many days? It's actually 18 days.
It's like 17, 18 days.
Right.
I think we're gonna flip in a couple hours here. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's like
579 backers. So far.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
Beautiful.
So we want to thank everybody who supported the campaign. There's still some time left to pledge, and all the links can be found in the show notes below. One last quick question. If you had to update your Kickstarter book one more time, what would be like the one thing that would be the first thing that you would update the new edition with?
Wow, I have to think about that.
Damn, Daph.
Probably about the Kickstarter add-ons, because they've changed. Because when Kickstarter first put them on, this is the first time I've used them. And the reason for that is talking to other creators who had used them in the last couple years. The back end admin was just a mess.
Right.
It was not good.
Uh-huh.
And so I was waiting. I don't like to be the beta version of anything.
Right. Yeah.
And so once that got cleaned up, I was like, okay, now I'm on board with this. But I kept it limited. And so we will be doing backer kit or something like that in addition to this, once we get closer to shipping.
Right.
But these are some basic add-ons that I knew people, particularly like the pin, because people love the pin, and they always come out great. They just the company I use, and Alejandro Lee does the design work for me, and he just does a tremendous job. So I was like, yeah.
So there you go. So so do you have Are you thinking of updating that book? Or are you figuring like, no, now it's at kind of like more individual to the creator?
It's, let's say it's pretty far in the back burner.
Okay, so there you go. Yeah, it's like, I guess now that a lot of other people are doing that, I guess they could fill in the gaps.
Oh,
but,
absolutely. There's,
yeah.
I mean, you can, I think mine is a great basic book, a great field drive that doesn't overwhelm you
Right,
with
okay.
information, that you can get like, okay, this is the basic scope.
It can save you hundreds and hundreds of dollars in classes, people.
Yeah.
And then yes, there's other people like Russell I mentioned,
Right.
Tyler James of Comics Launch is great.
Yeah.
Just watching other creators launch. I still go study other campaigns.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I'm still learning, and which is why we're doing I'm experimenting with variant covers and other things. I was like, okay, let's try this. Let's see what happens. Let's see what the audience response is. And then, we'll go from there.
Right. So there you have it. So thank you for coming back onto the show. Like I said, thank you everybody who have pledged, the 579 backers who have pledged to Boston Metaphysical Mystery at Pikes Peak 1 and 2. There's 18 days to go, but and they're at $18,336. Thank you so much for supporting this campaign.
Thank you.
Like I said, you have, it's like all the links are in the show notes below. And yeah, it's like remember, there's an audio drama, there's novels, there's pins, there's everything on there. Whatever you're collecting,
something for everyone
seems to be on this campaign. So outside of this campaign, where else can people find your work?
BostonMetaphysicalSociety.com. You can link there through my web store. I'm on Facebook, just Boston Metaphysical Society. You just type in Boston Metaphysical and it's going to come up on Google. There's no one else called me. And Twitter, M Holly Rosing, and Instagram, MC Holly 1. I will be at WonderCon this month. For those of you, I'll be in Small Press 93. After that, a small convention, steampunk convention in San Mateo called Clockwork Alchemy, and then you can check out the rest of my schedule on the blog on my website.
So there you go. So there you have it. Support the campaign. Links in the show notes. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for joining us. And yes, and I see you, the 7 people next to the giant eyeball on my screen. Thank you so much for hanging out with us in this hour. And don't forget to support the campaign as well. So, Nita, do you have any final thoughts?
Tune in this afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern, for Rodney Fikes' Fike It, Let's Draw. Tomorrow, John Celestri has The Devils in the Details. That's on Indie Comics Network after dark. And then our regularly scheduled bullshit.
Right, there you go. Because that's how we run things here.
Very professional.
Yeah, exactly. And if you want to learn more about me and my artwork and my upcoming campaigns, you can head on over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWORKS, where you can find links to all of my galleries and social media sites, but I mostly post to Facebook if you're into seeing sketches and work in progress and live updates of whatever I'm up to. And remember, you can check out all my videos here on YouTube at my channel at Daphne Lage, Lage Art, which also simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network. So like I said, subscribe to all of the channels, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever we go live. And speaking of going live, make sure that you watch on Wednesday from 4 to 6 p.m. where I have my own live stream, drawing live stream. I will be back with another episode this Wednesday, so make sure you tune into that as well. Remember that you can read Ego Raven for free at egoworks.com. It uploads every day, Monday through Friday, in full color, or you can download a free PDF of the first 16 pages of the first issue if you're feeling a little impatient. But if you prefer your fantasy to be more of a furry Lord of the Rings adventure, you can follow the link over to Tall Tales, TAILS online.com, and read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free, along with the new story arc, Tears of the Mother, which is also uploading every day as well, Monday through Friday. And don't forget to sign up for the newsletter as well. Speaking of mailing lists, where you can also download even more free comic book PDFs as well, just for signing up. So there you have it. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Madeleine, for joining us. And and as always, in the words of the ancients, eat your food, moisturize, mind your business, and do the work. Because when you actually do the work, you never have to fake any of your accomplishments. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. We'll see you Wednesday. We'll see you Friday. Ciao.